down. Our next speaker is Keith Bailey. Keith's response to the theme was, last weekend, my wife and I took my niece for the second year in a row to the big gig. Don't ask me what bands play. Ask me what it's like to be the favorite uncle to a 14-year-old. Keith is speaking from the Competent Communicator number 9, Persuade with Power. Keith's evaluator is Martin Lepich. Would you like to say what his objectives are?
Keith is going to persuade with power today. 9, one before the last one in the Competent Communicator series. He's going to provide logic to support his viewpoint and use strong emotional connection to persuade us of his view to a particular point or take a particular action.
Thank you, Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Bailey doing the gift that keeps on giving. The gift that keeps on giving, Mr. Keith Bailey.
Thanks, man. The gift that keeps on giving. It's not the Jelly Bean of the Month Club. The biggest gift that you can give is you, your time. Time is a very precious resource. We all know that it's constantly running out. So to make a choice to give some of yourself, especially to a worthy cause, is utterly powerful. And my goal today is to persuade you with some of my personal actions that I've taken on. I haven't always been philanthropic, but as of late, it just keeps snowballing. And once you start and you get into it, you start doing more and more because it feels good to you and you know you're making a difference. Mine started about 8 years ago. I had a personal training business at the time, and one of my clients was riding on a team called the Raw Heinies. As part of our training, we'd go out biking, and I was showing them the rules of the road and how to handle a bike and how to stop and how to start, things that I take as simple. I do them every single day. But the power for him, it was so powerful for him. He's like, Keith, you gotta come teach my team these things. This is amazing. I was like, well, tell me more about the Raw Heinies. He said, we're a group of 50 dedicated cyclists who do the Bike MS ride every single year. And most of these riders dust the bikes off a few months before, do their training, get done, hang the bikes back up again. It's all about the cause. I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll donate my time. And I'll come out and I'll do a series of training sessions, because as a cyclist, what I want is, I want to increase my cycling tribe and have more cyclists on the road, but I also want them to be safer. The thing about Bike MS is, these are people that are in entry levels. They're experimenting, they're interested. And if they have a great experience, they'll do it again. So I dedicated my time to it. And for 3 years, all I did was the training and saw phenomenal results. Every year they come back, like, we did a pace line, man, it was awesome. We're the safest people on the road. You see what the other idiots are doing. You know, you should go to the MS Society and tell them you want to do the same thing. I was like, that's a really good idea. So I went to the MS Society. I said, I'd like to dedicate more time. And they said, okay, well, what do you want to do? I said, I love biking, so I'd like to spend some time perhaps talking to cyclists that are just getting into this and do a crash course in biking. So I present once a year, sit in front of a group very much like this, and we talk about biking. We go on a bike ride. It's about an hour-and-a-half presentation. I talk a lot. I want to do more. What else can I do? They're like, you should come ride and do fundraising. I was like, okay, but I want to do more. They're like, well, have you thought about being part of the medical safety team? I was like, tell me more about this. Well, what you do is you become a first responder. You go through all the courses, become CPR certified, and then you just ride the course and you help people. I was like, I like all of that. So I signed up. And for 2 years, I was a medical safety person. And for the last 2 years, I've become the captain of the medical safety team. And it is an honor to bring together a group of people, share my values on biking and the safety that goes along with it and the joy of it. And then we all get together, and once for 2 days, we ride along with human beings. And we talk about biking, and we talk about safety. We stop for everybody. Along the side of the road, if you're stopped, I'll pull up. How you doing? What's going on? You're like, Oh, medical safety, I'm fine, man. I said, good, you having a great day? Yeah, I'm having a great day. How's your sugar levels? You feeling okay? You lightheaded? Whatever it may be, whatever the conversation may be. But I have to be honest with you. Before this happens, before this day comes along, there is a part of me that's like, I'm so busy. I've got so much stuff going on. Do I really have time for this? I'm committed. I'm going to go. It's during the ride that suddenly it just jumps up and grabs you. You're like, yes, this is why I'm doing this. And every year I have 2 or 3 of these experiences. And this year, it was like none other. I'm the last one to leave. I make certain of that. All my ride marshals go out. I am the last person to leave the starting gates. There are 3,000 people ahead of me on the road, and I start last because the slowest tend to fall back the fastest, and they're the ones who need the most help. Now, for those who don't know what MS is, it's multiple sclerosis, and it affects everybody slightly different. Some people start getting drop foot, eventually they're not able to walk. They have good days, they have bad days. The heat affects them greatly. And on this ride, I leave last, I talk to a few people, and I'm going down the road, and in the distance, I see somebody on their bike, and they're sitting totally cockeyed, they're like this, and only the right leg is just pumping, and the head is down, and he is going slow, weaving over on the shoulders, weaving along. So I slow down, I roll up next to him, and I'm like, hey buddy, how you doing? And he turns his head, and his bright red face and a huge smile, he's like, this is the furthest I've ever gone. We are 20 miles into a 80-mile day. And as I observe this gentleman a little bit closer, I see that he's wearing an I Ride with MS jersey, which now makes sense. I understand the signs. He's overheating, his body is compensating. He's made it past the first aid station, and we're about 3 miles from the next aid station. I was like, but that is, congratulations, man, that is fantastic. He's like, yeah, all these years I've been doing this, never made it this far. I was like, so how do you feel? I think I'm done. I was like, absolutely, we'll ride until you've had enough, and then we'll stop and we'll take it from there. So we rode for like another half mile or so, and we come to an intersection, there's a car sitting there that happens to be an official vehicle for the MS Society. So Lynn and I pull over and we stop. I was like, here, just park your bike here, have your water, I'll be right back. And I go up to the vehicle, knock on the window, some volunteers sitting there, how you guys doing? They're like, we're doing good. I said, great. I've got Mr. Lynn, he has MS, he's done. And they're like, okay. I was like, so I'm gonna load him up in the back of your car, and then you're gonna take him wherever you're gonna take him to. And they're like, but we're to deliver sandwiches to the volunteers. I was like, oh, I don't think Mr. Lynn's gonna mind. I'm sure he's happy to see all the volunteers as well. So she looks over the radio operator, she's like, oh, I guess that's fine. She's like, well, we don't have room for his bike. I was like, not a problem, we'll get a box truck to come pick it up. I load Mr. Lynn up, send him on his way, and to me, that is the moment that brings me back time and time again. Go out, volunteer, give back. It gives back in spades.